Hi there! So our group will be representing about flexibility. So we will introduce our group first. Start.
So what is flexibility? Flexibility is a physical feature responsible for the voluntary execution of a maximum joint range of motion by a single or a multiple joint within morphological limits without a risk of injury. This term is according to Prof. Estella H.M. Dentes, Human Motricity Bioscience Laboratory. Flexibility is an important component in physical activity. According to the American College of Sport Medicine, it is one of the essential qualities for acquiring and developing human physical condition. Furthermore, flexibility is achieved by the stretching, which stress causes a muscle to contract and tighten. Many of variable effects of a loss of normal joint flexibility, including injury, inactivity, or a lack of stretching. The range of motion will be influenced by the mobility of the soft tissue that surround the joint. This soft tissue include the muscle, ligaments, tendon, joint capsule, and skin. A lack of stretching, especially when combined with activity, can lead to a fatigue-induced soft tissue shortenings over the time. On this slide, I will talk about the types of flexibility. There are 4 types of flexibility. First is the static flexibility. Static flexibility divided into 2 types, which is static active flexibility and a static passive flexibility. Static active flexibility refers to the ability to stretch an antagonist muscle using only the tension in the agonist muscle. For example, is holding one leg in front of you as high as possible. The hamstring in the antagonist which begins stretch while the quadricep and hip flexor is the agonist holding the leg up. However, the static passive flexibility is the ability to hold a stretch using body weight or some other external force. For example, holding one leg out in front of you and resting it on a chair. The quadriceps are not required to hold the extended position. Second type of flexibility is the dynamic flexibility. This is the ability to perform the dynamic movement within the full range of motion, which involve a moving parts of the body and gradually increasing reach, speed, movement of a joint. This stretching must be performed in 8 to 12 repetitions. Each stretch the muscle group that cross over the joint. For example, twisting from side to side or kicking and imaging ball. The dynamic flexibility is generally to the specific spot than other form of the mobility. So the third type is the ballistic flexibility. This is the momentum use of a moving body or a limb in an attempt to force it beyond its normal range of motion. This stretching or warming up by bouncing into a stretch position using the stretch muscle as a spring which pull out the stretch position. For example, bouncing down repeatedly to touch toe. However, this type of stretching is not considered useful and can lead to injury. It does not allow the muscle to adjust and relax in the stretch position. It may instead causes them to tighten up by repeatedly activating the stretch reflex. So the last one is the fourth one is the proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, which is PNF flexibility. The combining of passive stretching and isometric stretching in order to achieve maximum static flexibility. PNF refers to any several isometric relaxation stretching technique in which a muscle group is passively stretched, then contract isometrically against the isometric contraction and passively take the joint through it increase the range of the motion. This PNF is useful in the rehabilitation program.
Hello, so this is the mechanism of flexibility. This is all how it happened. Firstly, the stretching of a muscle fiber begin with the sarcomere. And then the thick and thin myofilament started to increase. So after that, the muscle fiber then start to elongate. After that, the collagen fibers in the connective tissue align themselves, which means the muscle fiber is pulled out to its full length. So this will realign occur in the direction of the tension. Important note, when a muscle is stretched, some of its fiber lengthen, but other fibers may remain at rest. The current length of the entire muscles depends upon the number of stretched fibers, which is similar to the way of the total strength of a contracting muscles depend on the number of recruited fibers contracting.
I will proceed with the benefits flexibility for sport performance. First, increased joints range of motion. Flexibility is similar with stretching. Good in stretching and flexibility can increase athletic performance. When a muscle was properly stretched, the joints become more flexible and range of motion more increased. Second, improve recovery. Flexibility can improve your recovery and help to speed up recovery time. It is because it promotes the blood flow to muscle and prepare the body for vigorous activity by increasing muscle elasticity. Improve posture and balance. Posture and balance will more improve when you focus on increasing flexibility in sport. Sport performance also increase when you have a good posture and balance to perform. Flexibility can help athlete improve posture and balance because it is working out the body allowed to have proper alignment. Fourth, relaxation and stress relief. Flexibility also can help athletes release their stress and make them feel relaxed. One of example flexibility training can make athletes relax and release stress is yoga. Their performance will be increased and get a positive effect from training for competition. Last is injury prevention. The body will feel better after flexibility training. It is because that training helps your muscle from getting soreness and experience muscle cramps. When you perform in competition, you will prevent to get the serious injury, and it also help athletes perform well.
Okay, these are some guidelines that you need to follow if you're doing flexibility exercise. There are 3 guidelines, which are using a proper clothing, do a proper warm-up, and the duration of the exercise.
I will present about the gymnastic sport. First, I will tell about the gymnastic sport or some history of gymnastic before we continue with the training program. Sport gymnastic is derived its name from the ancient Greek word gymnastic, performed by both men and women at many levels. Gymnastics are just and score on both individual and team. Many types of gymnastic sports such as artistic, rhythmic, and aerobic gymnastics. In gymnastic sport, flexibility is important because without a right range of motion, gymnastics will be unable to learn how to do certain skills. This is a training program for gymnastic sport. There are the exercises that they can do to improve their flexibility. Before start the exercise, they will do dynamic stretching such as arm circle, jumping lunges, walking lunges, leg swing and high knee for 1 set and 10 seconds for each stretch. Then we will proceed with the flexibility exercise such as extend angle side bend, hip flexor quad stretch, and pigeon pose for 3 sets and 15 seconds is stretch. 1 set is considered left and right. For last 2 exercises are sit straddle, lotus, and knee to chest. It performed in 3 sets and 15 seconds for each stretch. After finish all the exercise, athletes should do some static stretching such as upper back stretch, calf stretch, and quadricep stretch in 1 set and 10 seconds for each stretch. Then follow with PNF stretching such as hamstring gluteus stretch, chest stretch, and groin stretch in 1 set and 30 seconds. This is the advantages of the exercise for gymnastic athlete. First is increase their stamina. Extend angle side bend exercise also good for gymnastic athlete. It is because this exercise can increase their stamina to compete in competition. This posture if exercise can help you develop some great muscle endurance over your whole body. Second is reduce chance of injury and improve their performance. Reduce injury is by activating the glute muscle. Strong and active glutes help to reduce both knee and back injuries. By stretching quad and the hip flexor, we allow the glutes to turn on and improve performance and reduce our chance of injury. Third is help to elongate back, open hip, groin and hamstring. The exercise such as pigeon pose can help to elongate back, open hip, groin and hamstring. Open hips also lead to less knee strength, which means greater range of motion. Open hips can release the negative energy. Last is prevent the injury. Knee to chest exercise help prevent injury to lower back, hamstring and gluteus. Gymnastic athlete can prevent injury on that muscle when training knee to chest exercise. It also helps relieve pressure on spinal nerve and stretch hip and low back muscle.
So here, I will talk about the training program for a diving sport. Before that, I will give a bit introduction about the diving sport. Diving is an aquatic sport where the competition is based on how the athlete dive into a swimming pool from a raised launch pad while performing acrobatic movement. In diving, there are two types of launch pads that used by the athlete, which is the springboard and the platform. Flexibility is a key element of diving. It is important not only to perform well during the dive but also to prevent the injury. During dive, the flexibility and strength are required for the athlete. So on this slide, I will talk about the training program for a diving sport. So this first 5 is for the warming up, which is increased heart rate and range of motion. So first is the arm circle, second is a jumping jack, third is the bend over twist, the fourth is the forward leg swing, and the last one is the lateral lunges. And each of the exercise will perform in one set, and one set is considered left and right. And each exercise also need to perform in 10 seconds. So this is the flexibility exercise for a diving sport, which is runner lunges, cobra pose, downward dog, butterfly stretch, and tucks up. Each exercise will be performed in 3 sets in 15 seconds. So this is the last part of the training program, which is a cooling down session. So for a static passive is the pretzel stretch, calf stretch, and child pose. And each exercise will be performed in one set in 10 seconds. Next is the PNF stretch, which is the PNF hamstring and gluteus stretch, PNF chest stretch, PNF groin stretch, and each stretch will be performed in one set in 30 seconds. There are lots of advantages of doing this flexibility exercise for a diving athlete. So the first one is to increase the ability of the flexible. The flexibility exercise help to improve the stabilizations and balancings of the athletes. It's help to enhance the ability of a diver to learn more movement. So the second advantage is improve the circulations. Flexibility exercise can increase the blood flow to the muscle. Besides, it helps to increase the diver breathing rate, which elevates the heart rate and helps to produce fluid that in a sense of a lubricates joint. That advantage is to promote a better posture. In diving, the body posture and the body alignment are important. Flexibility exercise can help to maintain a good posture to the athlete because the exercise will keep the muscle from getting tight after a workout and minimize ache and pain. Besides, it helps the athletes to perform well in dive movement skill. Next is helps to relieve stress. Flexibility exercise help to relax the tense of muscle that often accompany stress. By relieving stress, the athlete also can increase their mental and physical relaxation, which allow them for a better training. Promote the mental awareness that helps the athletes to improve the performance in competition. Lastly is to prevent from the injury. The more flexible the athletes with a high level of physical fitness will promote a less injury to occur. Exercise such as a runner lunges and downward dog will help to prevent the injury recover quickly from the injury.
So the introduction of wrestling. Wrestling is a type of sport that is similar to fighting, which is very different from any type of normal fighting sport that we see in TV or any events or any competition, such as boxing, Muay Thai, or UFC fighters. WWE wrestling is a TV show. Meanwhile, the Olympic wrestling is an official sport. Wrestling is a sport that you fight like your body is being twisted and holded by your opponent to the mat in positions where they can escape from anatomical defying the human body's capability. So this is why the flexibility is very important for this sport. So this is the training program for wrestling. So we started with dynamic stretching. So dynamic stretching, there are 5 exercises. There is arm skip, arm swing, power skips, sumo squat, tuck jump, and walking lunges. So we do it for one set only. So one set is 10 seconds each. There is left and right. So there are 5 exercises. Spinal stretch, knee to chest stretch, seated straddle stretch, head bridge, and reclining hero. All of these 5 exercises we do it for 3 sets and 15 seconds. So finally we do it for cooling down. So we start off with unal stretch with twist, and then calf stretch, child pose. So we do it for one set in 10 seconds. For the PNF we do it hamstring and quadricep stretch, lower back stretch, this is important, lower back stretch, and chest and abdominal stretch. One set 30 seconds, that is the normal range, I mean the basic second that we use for PNF. So this is the advantage of the exercise. So the advantage of exercise are 4. There is the first one is the reduced risk of injury. Second one is strengthen the ligament, increase our strength of our tendon. The third one is improve upcoming fights. The fourth one and the last one is improve range of motion. Obviously, flexibility can improve our range of motion.
Okay, next is martial art. Do you know about Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu, or Kung Fu? These are the some of martial art that are popular nowadays. But martial art is not only an art, it is a competition nowadays. Martial art can be derived from the name of Mars, the Rome god of war during 50s. During the back days, this martial art is also known as self-defense from any danger. But as time flies and the sport been evolved as from a self-defense towards a competitive as they are mixed martial art competition. These are some of the training program which include static, dynamic, and PNF flexibility exercise. Okay, we'll proceed to the next slide, which are the advantage of the exercise. So there are 4 advantages of the exercise, which are minimize risk of injury, great flexibility, help increase speed to recovery time, and increase flexibility and motion. As a conclusion, there are many benefits of being flexible. It is well documented by the researcher, and there are many research been done of the flexibility exercise. Static stretching, dynamic stretching, and PNF stretching should be incorporated in a flexibility training of an athlete. The athlete with a good flexibility will have a good range of motion as they can perform various movements which are to be executed in the sport. It also helps the athlete body to be more ready in sport skill. This is all from my group. Thank you very much.